Ever wondered why the nice guy always loses, even when he does everything right? You text back fast. You're polite. You listen. You give compliments, show interest, wait patiently. You do all the things women say they want. But still, she pulls away. Not because you were rude, not because you were wrong, but because something underneath you felt off. And she sensed it before you even knew it was there. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychoanalyst who mapped the soul, uncovered a terrifying truth. There's a part of you you've been taught to hide, a side you were told is dangerous, ugly, unwanted, so you buried it. You became safe, predictable, harmless, but it didn't disappear. It became your shadow, and now it leaks out, awkwardly, unconsciously, when you're trying to connect. You say the right things, but your energy betrays you. That's why the nice guy fails. He's split in half. One part smiles, the other screams. And women feel both. This video isn't about dating hacks or tricks. It's about reclaiming the parts of you that women can feel, even if you never say a word. Not louder, not nicer, realer. By the end, you'll understand why attraction has little to do with what you do, and everything to do with what you've disowned. You've been taught that being a good man means being agreeable. Be soft-spoken, be patient, be respectful. Don't offend, don't push, don't want too much. And what did it earn you? Rejection. Not for what you did, but for what you lacked. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The nice guy isn't actually nice. He's manipulative, performative, hollow. He acts kind, not because he chooses to, but because he needs something in return. Validation, approval, safety, sex. Underneath it all is fear. If I show her who I really am, she'll leave. So you smile, you nod, you apologize for taking up space. You censor your desire, edit your voice, shrink your body. You become a shell, safe, agreeable, forgettable. But here's the paradox. The more you hide to be loved, the more she loses respect for you, because the cost of safety is polarity. You've amputated the very force that creates attraction, tension, presence, risk. Women don't crave perfection. They crave truth, the kind of raw, integrated masculinity that says, I see you, and I won't abandon myself to please you. You think being nice is what keeps her around, but it's actually what makes her leave. Because when you repress your power, you project it onto her. She becomes the one who initiates. She holds the frame. She drives the dynamic. And eventually, resentfully, she checks out. You've seen it. You've felt it. That moment where she starts talking to you like a friend, not a man. Where her texts get shorter, where her eyes stop lingering, and you wonder what you did wrong, when the answer is what you never showed. You became her mirror, not her opposite. You reflected her softness, but gave her nothing to press against. No edge, no frame, no weight. So she floated, and then drifted away. She's not leaving because you're bad. She's leaving because you're missing. The nice guy performs love, but a man who has integrated his shadow embodies it. That's the difference between being agreeable and being felt. And unless you confront the flaw behind the nice guy mask, you will never access the raw, grounded presence that makes a woman feel like she's finally standing in front of a man. Carl Jung called it the shadow, not a metaphor, a force. A living, breathing aspect of your psyche that holds everything you've repressed, denied, or disowned. The aggression you were told to tame. The lust you were told to suppress. The rage, the arrogance, the dominance, the drive to take, to lead, to command. You didn't eliminate it. You just buried it. And when you bury something alive, it doesn't die. It festers. It waits. And then it leaks into your voice, your posture, your timing. You say what you think she wants to hear, but something about you feels off. Not dangerous, just dishonest. The shadow is every part of you labeled too much, Too intense, too selfish, too masculine. And instead of integrating it, you split it off. That split creates the nice guy, half a man, terrified of his own fire, begging for approval while pretending not to want anything. But here's the twist. The shadow isn't evil. It's power, unrefined, untamed. It's the root of your sexual energy, your emotional depth, your capacity to risk, to act, to stand when others fold. If left unconscious, it runs you. If fully denied, it drains you. But if integrated, it becomes fuel, calm, grounded, present. Shadow work is the process of owning what you've spent your life avoiding. It's not about acting out violent fantasies. It's about sitting in the heat of your resentment, your jealousy, your shame, and learning what it's trying to protect. Here's a real example. A man who always gets friend-zoned finally confronts his resentment toward women. Instead of hiding it, he writes it down, owns it, and traces it back to a deep childhood wound. Never being chosen, never being seen. He doesn't lash out. He doesn't collapse. He simply integrates it. Next time he's on a date, he speaks with presence. He sets boundaries. He's no longer trying to earn her. It's clear he values himself. Let me make this clear. The man who represses his shadow becomes passive, weak, avoidant. The man possessed by it becomes reactive, aggressive, dangerous. But the man who integrates it, he's different. You feel him walk into a room, not because he's loud, because he's there, rooted, watching, not seeking approval, but fully aware of who he is and what he holds. Women don't want perfection. They want realness, and realness includes darkness. They want the man who has faced his demons and didn't blink, because that man, she knows he won't fold under her fire either. This is why the shadow matters. Ignore it, and you keep losing silently. Own it, and you stop performing. You start embodying. You've seen it before. A man who doesn't chase, doesn't try, doesn't talk too much. And yet, when he walks into a room, people notice. She notices, not because of what he says, but because of what he carries. That man is integrated. He's not perfect. He's not polished, but there's weight behind his presence. He's solid, unrushed, grounded. Why? Because he's not at war with himself. He's not overcompensating, not hiding. He's faced his fear. He's confronted his hunger. He doesn't shrink around beauty. He doesn't inflate to impress. He's whole, and women feel that immediately. You need to understand this. Attraction isn't a tactic. It's not something you do. It's something you radiate. And what you radiate is the sum total of your relationship with yourself. Most men walk into interactions split. Their body says one thing. Their voice says another. Their energy says, need me. Even when their words say, I'm good. That dissonance is why she pulls away. But an integrated man has no split. He doesn't project shame. He doesn't disguise his desire. He brings the full range of his masculinity, intellect, instinct, restraint, intensity. He can flirt without flinching, hold eye contact without folding. He's not afraid to say no, to speak up, to lean in, or to walk away. This is what creates that magnetic field around him. Not dominance, but congruence. Not charm, but clarity. He isn't trying to be safe or impressive. He just is. And because he's not hiding, she doesn't have to guess. There's no mask. No boy begging for attention behind a man's words. When a woman encounters that energy, something ancient stirs in her nervous system. She feels the difference. This isn't a man trying to win her. This is a man who's already claimed himself. And in that space, real polarity can exist. Because now, finally, there's tension. There's edge. She doesn't have to hold the frame. She doesn't have to manage the conversation or steer the energy. He's there, fully, rooted, and that grounds her. And the irony? She becomes more feminine in his presence, not because he demanded it, but because he made it safe to let go. She doesn't need to control the dance. She can surrender to the rhythm because she feels your spine holding the tempo. Integrated men don't seek power, they stabilize it. They don't need to dominate, they generate coherence. They carry a quiet authority, not through aggression, but through the absence of internal chaos. Most men try to be attractive by cutting pieces of themselves off. They become tame, soft, easy to like. But attraction doesn't live in what's easy. It lives in what's undeniable. The integrated man doesn't ask, "What do women want?" He asks, "What am I hiding from myself that blocks them from feeling me?" And he does the work, not to impress, but to become someone worth encountering. When a woman meets that man, her body knows it before her mind does. She feels the tension in his silence. She feels the calm in his gaze. She feels the space he holds, because he's held it for himself. This is the paradox. The less you perform, the more they feel you. The less you try, the more they trust you. Because now you're not seeking something from her. You're bringing something to her. That's the difference. The integrated man doesn't perform masculinity. He embodies it. And embodiment speaks louder than any pickup line ever could. Masculine, feminine. You've heard the words, maybe even mimicked them. But polarity isn't about roles. It's about energy, presence, depth. It's about what's alive underneath the surface, what each person brings without trying. Most men fake polarity. They act dominant. They mirror alpha energy, but it's hollow, forced, conditional. She can feel when it's a show. Embodied polarity doesn't happen through posture, it happens through presence, through the stillness in your body, through the why behind your words, through your capacity to hold, to contain, to witness without collapsing. You don't need to overpower her. You need to anchor her. And you can't anchor anything if your own center is missing. You need weight, ground, backbone, because her femininity, her chaos, her testing, her expansion will press against every soft spot you haven't fortified. And that's not a flaw. It's her intelligence. She pushes not because she wants to emasculate you, but because she wants to find out where you end. She's looking for the edge of your presence. Can you hold her fire without trying to put it out? This is why polarity is born in tension, not conflict, but contrast. You must bring something she doesn't carry, not because she lacks it, but because she's tired of holding both poles at once. If she's inner masculine all day, making decisions, leading, solving, then your softness won't relax her. Your leadership will. If she's armored and guarded, what breaks through isn't sweetness. It's presence that won't flinch. You don't match her mood. You master yours. You become the emotional anchor in a sea of unpredictability. This is what it means to lead energetically, not to dominate, but to guide, to create space for her to feel, without absorbing, without fixing, without judging. That's the frame she wants to melt into. Not a man pretending to be strong, but a man who is, because he's already wrestled with his weakness and come out whole. You want her surrender? Then show her the kind of strength she can trust. Not control, not cold logic, but clarity, presence, stillness under pressure. She doesn't want a man who never doubts himself. She wants a man who doubts and chooses anyway. A man who doesn't collapse when she questions his power, but stands even taller in it. Because here's the unspoken reality. The feminine doesn't need a perfect man. She needs a stable one. One who stays in the fire without flinching, not because he's numb, but because he's grounded in something deeper than approval. And here's the twist. Polarity requires authenticity. If you're performing masculinity, she's performing surrender. But if you're grounded in truth, she's free to be real. That's when the walls drop. That's when she stops testing. That's when love stops being negotiation and starts being natural. Because now she's not in a transaction. She's in an experience, a current, a rhythm, a pulse she can feel in your eyes, your breath, your stillness. The paradox is this: the more you try to be the masculine man, the less she trusts you. But the more you inhabit your truth, the more space she has to relax into hers. Embodied polarity isn't about dominance. It's about resonance. When your nervous system calms hers without needing her to change. That's the signal. That's the bond. She stops leading not because you told her to, but because you showed her she finally doesn't have to. That's embodied polarity, not a strategy, not a pose. A felt reality between two whole people, neither trying to be enough, both willing to bring everything. Women don't fall for surface. They fall for depth. Not the kind you fake with words, but the kind that lives in your breath. The kind that shows up in how you see, how you listen, how you hold. The kind that can witness her without flinching. A woman can feel when a man is deep, not because he talks about his childhood trauma, but because there's space in him. Space for her chaos, space for her softness, space for her to fall without hitting the ground. Most men are mirrors. They reflect what she gives them. But depth is a container. It absorbs, it holds. It doesn't flinch when she's angry, wild, aching, terrified. That's what she wants. Not control, not perfection, but a man who can stay. Stay through her storms. Stay when she pulls away. Stay when she's in the messy process of becoming more than she was. Because she doesn't need you to rescue her. She needs you to witness her. She doesn't want reassurance. She wants resonance. She wants a man who has been there, who has walked into his own inner darkness and come out carrying truth, not just survival. Because when you've gone deep inside yourself, when you've faced your own chaos, your own wounds, your own grief, you stop needing her to be easy. You stop trying to fix her discomfort. You don't take her emotions personally. You stop needing her to smile all the time, agree with you, worship you. You don't love her performance. You love her presence. She stops having to prove. She stops having to pretend. And that's when she becomes radiant. Because she feels safe in a space that doesn't require her to be anything but real. A woman responds to a man's depth the way a flame responds to still air. She expands. She dances. She relaxes. Because she knows she won't be put out. Because she feels your eyes, not on her, but with her. She feels your body, not demanding, but open. There's a difference. One man looks at her and sees beauty. Another looks and sees through the beauty into her soul, her longing, her ache. And that man, she'll follow him to hell and back, not because he's perfect, but because he's real. Because his attention is devotional, not transactional. Because his love doesn't shrink when she's inconvenient. Depth doesn't speak loudly. It doesn't posture or perform. It sits, watches, sees. And in that silence, something ancient in her starts to wake. She doesn't want constant stimulation. She wants recognition. Not the fantasy she's been performing, but the truth she's been hiding. And when you meet that truth with reverence, not fear, not lust, not strategy, but reverence, she softens. She returns. She opens. She gives more than you asked for. And now something sacred enters the space. A current of devotion not born from need, but from recognition. Not from fear, but from truth. Because when a woman feels seen without being fixed, something unlocks. When she feels safe without being managed, she stops resisting. And when she feels loved without being manipulated, she gives everything freely. That's the secret. Depth calls her forward, not with pressure, but with presence. Not with seduction, but with steadiness. Not with tactics, but with truth. She responds not to the man who wants her, but to the man who sees her, all of her, and stays. Here's the truth. You don't need more techniques. You don't need better lines. You don't need a system to decode women like puzzles. What you need is to become real, because all the tactics in the world can't replace presence, And all the confidence hacks collapse when the moment asks for soul, not performance. This isn't about getting the girl. This is about getting yourself back. The man underneath the mask. The man before the role. The man who didn't perform because he was still whole. Individuation is the death of imitation. It's the long, brutal walk back into your own body, your own truth, your own unclaimed power. It's the moment you stop asking, what do women want? And start asking, who am I when I stop pretending? Because once that man emerges, once you stop outsourcing your masculinity to women's reactions, then they stop testing. They start responding. Not because you mastered polarity, but because you mastered presence. That's the secret no one markets. That's the path no one can sell you. You don't become magnetic by making her want you. You become magnetic by no longer needing her to. And when you stop needing her approval, she feels safe to come closer. You stop chasing validation. You start offering depth. You stop adjusting your truth to keep her happy. You become the anchor she didn't know she was waiting for. But here's the paradox. The more you try to be that man, the more you miss him. Because he's not something you invent, he's something you remember. Individuation is remembering the man before the conditioning, before the fear, before the nice guy mask or the alpha charade, before the voices that told you to shrink, to fit in, to please, to submit. And here's the sacred twist. When you become that man, she doesn't complete you. She meets you as an equal, as a reflection, as a mirror to the self you've reclaimed. No neediness, no performing, just two full beings bringing everything to the table. Nothing hidden, nothing forced, nothing withheld. You don't attract her by fixing yourself to be desirable. You attract her by living so fully in your truth that she feels the gravity of it in her bones. This is the end of the performance, the end of the game, the end of shape-shifting for approval. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be true, to be whole, to be fierce and soft and unshakable in the same breath. And from that place, everything changes. Your relationships deepen. Your attraction becomes effortless. Your clarity becomes non-negotiable. You stop choosing women who drain you and start drawing in women who recognize you. And what you lose, people-pleasing, insecurity, approval-chasing, was never yours to begin with. They were masks, strategies, ghosts. Individuation is not the reward. It is the return, the remembering, the reclamation, the refusal to abandon yourself ever again. You don't become a man when she loves you. You become a man when you can love her without losing yourself. And that's what she's been waiting for. Not a prince, not a player, a presence, a man who has nothing to prove and nothing to hide. A man whose yes means yes, whose no means no, whose energy isn't borrowed from performance, but forged in solitude. A man whose life is an altar, not to approval, but to truth. That man is rare. That man is dangerous. That man is free.